Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to Crowley House Flower Farm. This week we are up again at the Orchard Heights house, partly because we have a lot of gardens that we're working on up here. And I wanted to kind of show you some of the things that we've been doing. We've been working on a few projects, not on camera. Actually, Brayden's been working on most of the gardens, so it's been kind of cool. Brayden started working with me a couple years ago back at the Crowley house. Well, actually, since he was very little, he would do, bucket runs and things like that of flowers, and he just did it because he was hanging out with me. But then I've noticed the last couple years that he's gotten more interested in, like watching Gardener's World with me and just kind of wanting to know more about plants and things like that. And over the years, he's kind of developed this love for gardening, especially being out with me, working in the gardens and YouTubing and things like that. So what's kind of fun is here at the Orchard Heights house, he's kind of taken the lead, and I've kind of let him do that and just kind of let him find his feet and find all the things that he loves. So this has been kind of fun. Brayden thought maybe we would show you a few of the gardens he's been working on, and he thought one of the gardens is going to be a big undertaking. It's the Circle Drive garden. It's just a big space. It's got electricity to it already, we found out. Thankfully no one got electrocuted, but we found out. And then there used to be a pond on this little garden, so we were planning on putting one back in. So I'm gonna let Brayden give you a little bit of a tour and kind of an idea of what he's thinking in this space. And then we're gonna take a look at some of the other little gardens that he's started and put together and his plans there. I'll probably pop in and talk a little bit because he's still a little shy, camera shy, but he makes an appearance every once in a while. It's kind of fun. All right, let's go for a quick tour of the Orchard Heights new garden beds that we've been putting together. So here we have a new bed that Brayden has put together, and we ended up going with a few roses, which is called Nitty Gritty. This is a white rose exclusive to Monrovia Nursery, and I'm loving this because it is a shrub rose, and it is kind of one that will just kind of use as a ground cover, which I kind of want. And it's very low fuss, just very disease resistant, and it's on its own root, which is really, really nice. But I love that classic look of the yellow with this in the center and then the white bloom, and you don't have to deadhead. So we have 3 of them here. They do get about 3 feet tall and 4 feet wide, so we left plenty of spacing here. I believe Brayden's plan is to, over here, do a row of boxwood. I think just the dwarf variety. And then over here we have a lavender and then a couple tree peonies back in this little section. We did rework a garden over here. We did just move a couple of these. These are kind of like a native sword fern. So we're going to be creating a fern garden all through here. You can tell it's just got lots and lots of weeds through it. It does have beautiful spring flowers. Obviously gorgeous view. Eventually we're going to have probably cattle out here in this field, so that'll be really pretty in spring. He created a little walk path that went on out that direction, and we're probably going to put a little seating area because we have these huge, beautiful big trees. Okay, so through this space, we've been working on this little tea garden, and I have now a vision of what I want to do, but this is going to be the last garden that we work on. We kind of started laying it out last summer. There's a lot of weeds because my mom loved to feed the birds, and so you'll see all this grass in here, and so I've got to come in and just really do like a thorough weeding several times. We ended up moving the bird feeders back around the corner here and just in an area where I don't care that there's weeds and things growing. So it's just not into like a garden bed, which is really hard. So this is all stuff that has been here. I'm not sure what this is called, but it is used a lot in landscapes. Not my favorite, so I think I'm gonna pull them out, but I'm gonna do it this fall, move them somewhere else, see if they survive. I don't know if they will. So coming up from those trees here, what we have here is there's some daylilies, there's some, I don't even know what. But there's also a oak tree that's gonna get really big, and so I gotta pull that out. Just a little seedling that popped out. And so this little area is something that in our last house, before Crowley House, we had a water feature that my husband built. and it was just beautiful. And so I want something very, very natural that just kind of fills in the space, more of a bubbler, not like a huge fountain. So more maybe like a rock bubbler or a vessel or something like that. But so this little space here again had a bird feeder. So there is lots and lots of grass. We're just kind of letting it do its thing, pulling it out, cleaning it up. And then we're gonna put the water feature in. That's gonna be later this summer when we'll do that. So behind me, you can kind of see where we've sculpted the garden beds. Brayden did a really nice job just using like a edger by hand and did all of these, and it's looking really good. The grass is not doing as good. We might have to reseed it this fall, and so our thoughts are this. And this is something where I would love your guys' opinion. So in the center here, I'm thinking that I want to do some sort of garden. Maybe in some sort of rounder shape, or I'm not sure exactly what, but we just thought to get your ideas and see what you guys think.
Right here we planted about 5 of our salvias. They're a nice bluish purple salvia, and they get pretty tall. Playing the blues, proven winners, salvia. They get about 2 feet tall. They're really pretty. And then we went ahead and picked up a nice like burgundy dark Japanese maple here, and it should be pretty low to the ground, but it will definitely get bigger. We have a type of conifer here, and it's just a nice yellow. It will get pretty tall, about the same height as our roof there, and it will contrast this burgundy, and I think the colors will play nicely with each other. Our Weigela variegated leaf here is really nice, and it's also pink. It has a nice pink flower, just finished blooming. And this will look really nice alongside the burgundy and the yellow. We're just trying to play with colors, see what works. This will get pretty big, about 4 feet by 4 feet tall. So yeah, we'll see. It's fun to see things grow up.
For along here, you can see that this little garden bed that was back from the 1950s, we're gonna redo that with actual brick eventually, and that's gonna be a whole nother video probably next year. And then where this pole is, we are actually gonna put in kind of a brick with a post, which is cool. So we had to kind of pull out all the ferns, and that's where Brayden reworked them over into the far garden over there.
We have a variegated sedge grass here, and they'll probably get like double in size, not too big. And they're really nice, and we just scattered 3 here. We scattered 3 kind of like in our individual beds here. I think it's fun, you know. We did like we kind of matched this side over here with the raised bed with the big rocks, and then we decided to do something different and just do a secondary border of rocks here with smaller rocks, and I think it turned out really nice.
All right, so that was kind of fun to see some of the projects that Brayden's been working on, but one of his biggest projects and one of his own personal gardens is going to be this little circle garden, and this has come a long way since we moved in. It was quite the ramble of just, so much stuff. But when we first moved in here, it had remnants of a water feature, it had lighting, it had all kinds of things. So we're trying to bring it back to life, and it's really kind of cool. So I've given Brayden full reign on this garden. He's gonna do, well, let him tell you.
Here's the tropical garden. I recently just cleaned it out, and it looks a lot different. We kind of pulled up all the weeds, kind of cleaned off the bed, got a clean slate so we can, start with the architecture of the garden, which is all this brick here. All we've laid out so far is kind of a pathway, and I'm not sure if I want to keep this path. I think I'm actually going to flip it, so instead of it going down to this side, I kind of want it to come up instead. The only reason that is because we want our pond to move. This was the original spot. I think I want to move it kind of more towards the wall, because it's also easier to dig with the excavator if we move it over here. Besides that, it's kind of nice to just, lay things out and figure out what you want to do, and it's cool to change things, I need to get some compost for all the plants here and all the plants on the Orchard Heights property here, and then we'll start planting up everything we have over here. Again, not sure where things are gonna go yet. So here's a few of our plants. We have, first off, the palm tree I got for my birthday. Might get another one because this one's pretty small, but I thought it'd be fun to nurture one at least at a younger age here. Hard to say how old it is, probably like 2 years. But this is a windmill, and they are perfect for Oregon climates. Right now you can tell it's kind of yellowing, It's fading. That means it needs some, I believe, magnesium or potassium, some sort of nutrients in order to perk it back up to get it to this color. We just want a clean green. But I need to get it in the ground first and foremost. So we have a Gunnera that we got from another nursery, and this guy is a little more shade loving in the terms that it's, you know, we have a full sun kind of bed here, which is perfect for our tropical garden plants. But this guy, I think I'm going to put next to the pond so it gets lots of water, you know, big leaves. And then we have our bananas. This guy got a Wilco for like 12, 16 bucks, something like that. And it is really nice, perfect, young, and these will spread, of course, I think when they flower. And we actually have another banana here too. And this one's nice because it has a darker leaf, which I love. And it also has kind of this nice orange stripe, and it will have an orange flower as well. So orange and red are kind of my palettes. You know, we want warm colors. So here's them next to each other. Pretty nice. And then we have our canna, which is blooming right now. Nice red flower. So I'm ready to plant these up. So these we just picked up from Crowley House, and we have a lot of them still, and we've kind of used them at Crowley House. It's what we have our like pathways for, and we're gonna use these just for that. I think we'll make a nice pathway somewhere along it, or just integrate it into the bed, so it'll look nice.
So when I moved here, I was 13 years old, and the island was kind of fun because it's a circle, and we would just kind of walk along the edge, you know, like a balance beam. But there was all this white rock that was, I think this was probably used a little bit like as a moon garden. So there was, this whole garden was full of this white rock, which you can still see some of it, but it was covered completely white. And then it had the remnants of some sort of pond or fountain in the center here. This actually had like a huge deodar cedar. I believe it was a deodar cedar. One of these guys here next to it that fell in a windstorm. And then it also had like a vine maple, which Brayden rescued a vine maple from here, probably like an offshoot of it or something new that came up. So this was very neglected and has always kind of been neglected. Now this island was called Mary's Island because it had a statue of Mother Mary. And since I don't know what happened to the Mother Mary, but it's no longer here. So we're trying to figure out a name for this garden. So if you have any suggestions as well on a name for this garden, Brayden and I are up to hearing everybody's input on this kind of tropical garden that he's starting to put together. So here she is. You know, since we're here, we're gonna go ahead and Brayden and I are just gonna do a little bit more layout of this garden. And you know, I've been super busy lately, so we haven't had a chance to really talk about this garden too much, and he's been working on this all by himself. So now we're just gonna kind of lay it out a little bit more and just kind of see. So we thought you guys might like to join us as we do this.
So I think with the white rocks, I think I'm gonna collect as much as possible. It will be a big job because there's so much. But what I want to do is collect them, wash them off so we can get that nice pearly white color back, that shiny white, and maybe do a pathway. I think that'd be fun.
So we have this kind of metal pipe here that runs through, and this housed all the electrical that went through here. There is water as well that they use to irrigate and then also to run the pond. Brayden was digging out, we have a bay laurel tree right here that is, no matter what you do to it, it always wants to come back. So we've got to dig it completely out. You can see where the metal pipe just runs underneath this tree here. And there's electrical coming, which is live. We figured it out that there was a lamp post right here that has since fallen over. But anyways, so we've got, there's wire. I mean, look at this. The tree grew around the lamp post and the wires are buried underneath. That's gonna be a job.
So we're gonna move the pathway so that way it is linear to our opening. So we're gonna move it from here to here, so that way when you walk out of the pathway or out of the bushes here, you can go straight. So we're just gonna dig like 6 inches to see what it looks like. What it's gonna do is it's gonna trickle down. It's gonna trickle down, trickle down. We've outlined it here. Then we're gonna have our walk path, probably bark chip. That's gonna have a little bridge going over the trickle right into the pond right next to the pathway. So that's what it looks like, kind of outlined. Pond into stream with the bridge to the fountain right there. We'll just need my dad to dig this out now. And I think for the stream, we have these nice big boulders, big rocks. And I actually dug these out, and they were just bordering the hedge here. Must have been in there for a long time, probably when they first started the gardens here 50 years ago. And I dug them out. Only about like a fifth or a quarter of the rock was showing, so I had to dig it up.
Yeah, bring it in like 6 inches. You want to be able to get to the side just in case because we're going to probably run electrical through there. Yep. Yeah, but why don't you do them right there just as a group? Yeah, I like the color.
Think that's okay?
Yeah, I like the colors. Remember, this is a jewel tone garden. We need to bring some purple into this garden.
Okay, so we went to Wilco. So we got some peppermint ground cover.
50% off.
50% off. Couple perennial flowers here. 2 more
Coreopsis,
bananas.
right?
What we went for. Yep. And then a fig tree.
We always come back with more than we need.
Well.
Okay, let's go get them over into their home. Well, as you can tell, it is a labor of love here at the Orchard Heights house, bringing these gardens back to life. They've been slightly neglected over the last probably 20 years. They've been maintained, but they just need zhuzhed up, and that's what Brayden and I are doing. It's super exciting for me to see Brayden kind of get that spark of the joy of gardening, actually. You know, I feel like there's more and more interest with the younger generations. I feel funny saying that, but the younger generations kind of finding the joy of gardening and understanding how beneficial it is for mental health and for just overall health. And for me, as a mom that gets to work alongside Brayden, I know I've said this a million times, but it's just so fun to have both my kids just really enjoy gardening and the love of gardening and then designing gardens together. We've done a couple projects I haven't showed on YouTube, but we had one winery that we did a beautiful project for and bought in plants and things like that, which was really fun. So kind of venturing down the path of garden design with some of our clients. I think that just with the nursery at the Crowley house, it just kind of opened up the doors to do that. And it's exciting because Brayden's super excited and I'm hoping he'll go down that path. And for me, him learning the art of design with plants is an art. And putting colors together and textures and the mood, which I'm loving how the little garden that he wants to do with a just kind of more of a tropical vibe. I'm loving how that's coming together. And then he's got a couple other gardens that he's started, and just kind of picking and choosing has been really, really fun to see it all kind of come together. And, you know, the weeds getting under control and things like that, you know, just putting down a nice fresh layer of mulch and, you know, like the bark dust going down and, you know, plants thriving. It's so fun to see. Anyways, well, thank you so much for joining us. We love having you here. If you could, please leave me a comment. Let me know what you think. Give me your thoughts on the next generation that's coming up that wants to garden, and, you know, maybe bought me a, you know, like when you started gardening or getting interest, or who inspired you to garden. That'd be kind of fun to hear. Okay, guys, until next time, much success in all you do and grow. And we'll be seeing you shortly back here at the Orchard Heights project with we have a porch design that we're doing, and it's really fun. So that'll be next week. Okay, bye-bye.